Hey guys, this is The Deal with Danny Brown. Welcome back. So the deal for today, for this week is, so I'm in escrow. We're a new construction home. I represent the buyer. And, there's typical issues. One of the issues that came up was one of the showers downstairs wasn't sloped properly, so it wasn't draining. So, of course, new house, my client, and I say, hey, look, Mr. Builder, you got to take up the tile and repitch it so that it drains correctly. Don't want to buy a new house that already has an issue. Builder says, it's not a problem. It's going to be fine. We're like, okay, that's fine for you to say that, but it is a problem, and we're not going to take a chance that it's going to be fine. No, we'll monitor it. Don't worry about it. I'll monitor it. If it becomes a problem, then we'll do something about it. And we said, look here, Mr. Builder. Either warranty this shower for 10 years in writing that you'll take care of anything that comes from it, or take the tile up and pitch it like we said. A couple days later, he agrees to repair the shower floor, and it's done right. So anyway, typical stuff. You got to push back sometimes on builders and sellers that aren't reasonable, and that's what we did today. Hey guys, welcome back to The Deal. I'm Danny Brown. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I appreciate all of you that have subscribed and commented on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you're listening. It means a lot to me. If you can amplify this and pass this on to your friends and associates and let them know about The Deal podcast, I'd be so grateful. We've hit some good metrics and we're continuing to push forward. So appreciate it. This week on The Deal, welcome Bob Skibinski, Bob the Builder. Bob is a Boston guy through and through, diehard Celtics, Red Sox, Patriots fan. He is a Ray Donovan lookalike, man. I can't get over it. Every time I see Ray Donovan, I think of Bob Skibinski. But Bob's a custom home builder. He's really raised the bar and raised the level of home building and spec building in Cheviot Hills. We're trying to move him a little further out from Cheviot Hills, but he's done an unreal job. We have some crazy stories. He's a Paul Pierce fanatic. I now live in Paul Pierce's house, which Bob ended up building, and it's just a crazy story. We'll get into that. He gives me so much crap when the Red Sox beat the Dodgers. It broke my heart, but I still got love for the Red Sox, Ray. My boy Kevin Millar, Cowboy Up, 2004, broke the curse. So I always got love for Sox Nation, even though I don't let Bob know that. So let's welcome Bob Skibinski. You said you wouldn't do this until I sold Earlmar. So
True.
I'm glad we sold Earlmar, or you would have never showed up.
Good point. That's a good point.
That was a very tough to get you here, but we got you here.
Your first sale here at Compass?
My first sale at Compass
Perfect.
was with Bob Skibinski and Earlmar. That's a good one to have. So yes, that was my first sale at Compass. I think the first deal I did with you was like in 2011, a long time ago.
It's been a long time.
Yes. So I want to jump right into where you're from, where you grew up, how you got into real estate. So sort of just take us back to the beginning so we can get an idea of the Bob Skibinski story.
Grew up back east, had absolutely no interest in real estate growing up, but had very hardworking parents and grandparents that taught me work ethic. I was selling yesterday's newspaper today when I was 11 years old, going door to door, and always had a job. Went to UMass. Okay. When I graduated from UMass, I had a couple buddies that wanted to be in LA. One of them was an actor. The other one was an editor. And I was working for Marriott Hotels at the time, actually. I went to school for hotel management.
All right.
And one New Year's Eve, we were sitting around doing stupid things and had a few drinks and decided we're moving to LA in a month.
That's it.
Yeah. And so they needed to be here. I wanted to be here. I just came out for sunshine.
Did you know anything about LA at the time? I mean, no friends, no family, nothing.
Zero.
Just that you wanted to go.
We took a trip out here a couple months before that. Fell in love with it. So we packed up 2 cars.
Oh, you drove across country.
4 a.m. We left in a blizzard.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we got stranded in New York. So from Massachusetts to
get
New
past
York,
New York?
we barely made that. Drove cross country in 2 cars, 3 of us. So we had, we were alternating. The whole trip was the goal was to get to the Grand Canyon because we had obviously never been there. And we made it to, I think, Flagstaff.
That's close.
Another blizzard. We're snowed in. The hotel we were at happened to have like 2 busloads of cheerleaders from some college that were stranded
so
as well.
Thrilled about the blizzard.
So that wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
We got to hang out in the hotel. We stayed in a hotel for the night.
In Flagstaff.
But the worst part was they shut the roads to the Grand Canyon down. Apparently it was the first time in forever.
Yeah.
And we never made it.
I didn't even know it snowed there.
So we couldn't go to the Grand Canyon. We went straight to Vegas.
Even better.
Which is the first time I had been to Vegas.
That was your first trip to Vegas?
First trip to Vegas, driving.
And how much money did you have in your pocket at that?
I had $300. God only knows.
God.
I mean, none of us had.
You put it all on red when you got there?
We had no jobs in LA.
Yeah.
We had no idea what we were going to do.
Nothing set up.
We had. I mean, I had some decent money saved at the time, which was not much. And we landed in LA, crashed with somebody's friend for a week. And then started looking for apartments, and we realized real fast that we weren't going to live on the beach in Santa Monica.
That dream was crushed.
We ended up in like Los Feliz in like a dungeon.
And Los Feliz was not hipster. Los
we thought we could afford.
That was the hood back then.
But the 3 of us basically all said, screw it, we're going to do what we have to do. And we went all the way back to the beach, and we got an apartment right in Santa Monica.
Oh, you did find something at Santa Monica.
20th Street. And ironically, which maybe will come out later, I owned a building on 20th for several years, an apartment building. So it's kind of ironic.
Near there.
Yeah, right
Full
near there.
circle.
Yeah,
crazy.
crazy.
So you come out here, you have no job, no contacts, no network, just young guys trying to start their lives. And where did you go for work? Did you work at a restaurant?
I went to Venice Beach every day and played hoop.
So you were hooping it up.
Playing hoop.
White boy can't jump time.
White boy can jump. I had the UMass high jump record for like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So I played hoop in Venice.
So you were just dunking on fools.
Had a great time while they were out. One guy was, going on casting calls. The other guy was trying to get a job. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was working in conventions for Marriott. But I knew I wanted to be in sales. And after a few months of doing nothing and realizing I was going to have to get a job as a bartender or something, I saw a headhunter and tested for, whatever they were doing. And obviously, I had sales acumen at the time and knew I could do this. And they started sending me out on interviews in all different types of industries. Anyway, long story short, I ended up in financial sales. I ended up doing equipment financing.
So that's how you got into that.
Yeah, business. I got into that business
through a headhunter. So that was kind of
no part of it. The headhunter was, you're going to be great for this.
I went in the office. You were looking to do.
It was. I had no idea what it was. I mean,
But you needed a job.
I sucked in finance in college. It wasn't a great. I didn't do great in it. I wasn't a money guy by any stretch. But I got in and I learned quickly. And within a year, I was the top sales guy there.
There you go.
Fast forward. Only 12 or 13 months into that career, I left there with 4 other guys, and we started our own company. And then
doing equipment
finance. I had 4 partners, and we were sued by the other company, but for nothing. That we didn't do anything, but they weren't happy that we left. We were the top guys. Kind of roundabout was we were acquired by a company in Beverly Hills, where I met my mentor at the time. He was an older guy. They bought our little business for basically nothing, but they kind of gave us a home.
Yep.
And a couple of years later, after the big earthquake, he wanted to move to Arizona, and I wanted to start a company with him. And so I moved to Scottsdale for a couple of years.
Got it.
And we started a business out there, and we're very successful. But after a couple of years, he wanted to play golf 3 days a week, and I was busting my ass running the company.
And it was also equipment leasing,
same thing,
industry?
Equipment finance, yeah.
Equipment finance.
And just it wasn't going to work. I didn't like Arizona. It was too hot in the summer. He was on a different path. He wanted to go into retirement. I was trying to build the business.
Just starting, he was ending.
And we decided amicably to split the company into 2. I kept the name. I did a lot of business in the entertainment industry and moved back to LA. Started with my 2 dogs, 2 huskies, and one of my employees in a 1-bedroom, basically a studio in the marina. And that was my first office.
That was it.
And and then, that's 25 years ago almost.
Was that
now.
the start of Tacor?
That was the start of Tacor, yeah.
So you're still
and
exists
still in business
today.
25 years later.
Still exists today. So unbelievable. So you weren't really looking to get into that business, needed a job, young guy.
Yep.
Went into it, did well at it because you were good at sales, and then opportunities started presenting themselves with hard work.
Met a lot of people out here.
And
hard
then,
work.
So that's interesting. So now you're in that. You got your business set up, Tacor set up, your financing. How the heck did you get in from there into, hey, I'm going to develop homes on the west side? I mean, they have nothing to do with each other.
I met a guy, very big attorney at the time in town. His name's Stuart Liner.
Of course.
Great guy.
Who he is. Yeah. Legendary guy.
Legendary builder. Yes. But more legendary as an attorney.
Legendary in the legal field, but then became a legendary builder.
He's a big deal who started in the Huntington Palisades with his own home and sold it to a celebrity, and he and his wife built another one and sold it before it was done, and so on and so on. They did very well. And
as good as anyone's ever done, I think,
absolutely. He's
in recent times in terms of developing high-end luxury West Side homes.
I agree.
I don't know if anyone's done what they've done.
I mean, he went from doing his own stuff to building $40, $50 million homes.
Yeah.
And very well.
Yeah.
And impeccable reputation, great guy.
Does it right.
So he always shared with my buddies and I what he was doing and how he was doing it. And we always would leave.
Good to you.
We would leave his home after drinking, scotch and smoking cigars and say, God, we got to do this. And I was driving through kind of like, not Westwood, but just kind of north of Pico.
Yeah.
Near
Lower
Sepulveda,
Westwood,
Camden, whatever that area is over there.
The edge of Westwood.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was not a great area, and certainly not at the time, but I drove by and there was a lot, and there was a fence, and there was a sign that said, for sale. Permits ready, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't know anything. I called the number. It was a divorce. They needed to sell it. It was approved. It was ready to be built. So I called Stuart and ran it by him, and he said, do the math. And I said, I don't even know how to do the math.
What is the math?
I said, this is what I'm going to buy it for. I have no idea what it's going to cost me to build.
Do you remember what the house was?
No idea.
Couple $100,000 or something?
No, it was probably several $100,000, I'm assuming.
Maybe close to, okay.
But he said, find a contractor, get a bid, add that to, simple math. Add it to the cost of the house, figure out what you think you can sell it for, and if it makes sense, do it. And so naturally, I called my buddies that we all used to hang out and say, we're going to do this. And none of them wanted to do it.
No one wanted to put
No one has the balls to do it or the
when it's time to step up.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's in.
So I did it, and it was scary. I mean, I was running a business.
Yeah, so you're working full-time running a business, and
I
now
hired
you're
a contractor, kind of had to pay attention to what he was doing because I didn't know what the hell was going on.
You had no idea what was going on.
I had gone through a remodel for my own house in Cheviot at the time and had an idea, but ultimately I had no idea. Long story, and knock on wood, the house came out beautiful. We did it quickly, sold it, made some money, and then bought another one in Cheviot.
Wow. And what year are we talking about? What is this?
This is probably 08, 07, 08.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the end of last cycle.
Yeah.
Before the crash happened in 08, 09.
The third home I did was affected with the market crashing. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting
and
scenario.
That was a crazy one because we had a pipe burst the night before an open house, the first open house. So it's done.
Perfect timing.
Ironically, it's on the same street I live on now, but it was day of open house. House was flooded, a foot of water. Horrible mess.
So just shut it down.
Yeah, months of remediation and redoing. And so when it was supposed to go open, the market was okay. And during this project,
Lehman's meltdown and
everything blew up. And I was lucky enough to get out of there about even, which was great at the time.
That was a win.
Yeah, honestly, it was a save.
Yeah. And did you build through the recession through 09, 10?
I've never stopped.
So did you make money or were you breaking even in those few years?
I was still making money. I was building good stuff. I always built a good product.
You were buying lots at a discount once the recession hit.
Whatever discount
the market was.
Yeah.
And selling them whatever the market was.
Absolutely.
And you were making money. So it wasn't like you were losing because the market went down.
At the time, I was doing one a year because I was still running my company.
One a year. Okay.
So I did one a year. It took about a year or less. We were always good at getting things done quickly. And then that's part of the game. I mean, you got to get in and you got to get out. You got to build it right. But knock on wood, I always made money, even when things were bad.
Thank God.
Good neighborhood,
Yeah.
All of it was in Cheviot for a long time. And I built good quality and people appreciated it. And I lived in the neighborhood. I mean, it's tough to build and live next door to somebody if you don't build a good product.
Right.
But I did.
Yeah.
And still do. And so, about 5 years ago, I hired a CEO to run my finance business. And I wanted to get into this full time.
So that was just 5 years ago that you.
Yeah.
I thought you stopped running that company a while ago.
I brought him in probably longer than 5 years ago. In fact, for sure. But I kind of gave the reins over. I was in the office a couple days a week.
So 5 years ago, you didn't have to run day-to-day operations.
5 years ago,
Only
I stopped
you had
going
to run
to the
your
office.
development
I traded
company.
in the suit in the office in the
development.
corner to what you're seeing now. I wanted to be
So
outside.
that's
I wanted to be doing what I'm doing.
2003 or so. 2013.
Yeah, exactly. Probably around 2013,
so
14.
How many houses do you think you've built from that first one on Camden until now? How many spec homes have you built in your career?
25, 26, something like that.
And now what is your ideal for a year? What would you ideally like to be doing? How many homes a year?
4, but the right 4.
Of course.
I want to stay in the neighborhood because I'm there.
Yeah.
And I want to continue to be the guy that can build a quality for that area.
Yeah.
But also I want to step it up. I want to get into a higher
we've
price
talked
range.
about that all the time, and I'm trying to get you into little home in Brentwood and Palisades, and we will. We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean the product's going to sell wherever we put it.
Yeah, I mean your product speaks for itself, and it's funny. I shot you a picture this week of a hood that you put in my house. It's another story that I bought a house from you. It's the hood that's in my house, and it was in a $20 million spec in Beverly Hills.
For sure.
And my house is nowhere near $20 million, but God bless, it's a beautiful house. But
for sure.
This is a really good story. So Bob, is a builder, and I'm a broker, and we've done deals together, and I bring him deals all the time. So I have a listing, and it happens to be NBA legend, The Truth, Paul Pierce, buddy of mine, and Bob being from Boston.
One of my favorite players.
One of his favorite players of all time. And I list the house. And it wasn't, Paul didn't live there. He bought it for his mom when he signed his first contract. Paul's from Englewood. He grew up in L.A. She wanted to be in L.A., so she had been there. It's a beautiful house that Hal Klein built in the 90s. And it looked like a 90s house.
Yeah.
Like yellow, lemon, Spanish, Mediterranean. So I called Bob and I was like, look, getting this listing, I know you don't usually do remodels, but you could turn this into your
it's the only one I've done.
Skibinski style.
Yeah,
it's
really
the only one.
Yeah.
So, Bob looked at it, had the vision, and said, okay, I totally get it. This can be a kick-ass house. And it was, at the time, the usual. I don't know what we can sell it for.
Right.
Is it worth it? It's kind of thin. All the usual stuff, the numbers. And then I remember at the time one of the big factors why you did it was that you were just in between projects.
Absolutely.
Candidly,
I've told you this. I did it to keep my crew busy.
Yeah, so that's a huge thing, because think about, you've gone on quite a run since that.
Sure.
That sort of kept your crew working, and then you've had multiple houses since. But our story was, we're going to flip the house, and I was going to resell it for a number that I thought was a good number, which you thought was, whoa, that's big. I don't know if we're going to get it.
Sure.
Fast forward 6 months into the construction, my wife, Jessica, God bless her, and mother-in-law, Mama Fran.
Probably more mother-in-law.
Mama Fran. Go see the house because they like to see everything I do, and they always go to see your houses because they love your houses. And they walk in, and I get the call, hysterical. I love this house. We got to buy this house. Don't let Bob sell it. And I'm like, whoa, wait. I'm listing the house. We're not buying the house. So then for the next 2 weeks, I didn't even tell Bob. I didn't want to tell you. I'm like, I'm not telling him anything unless I know they're.
But we knew.
Yeah, they knew because
they were there 25 times a day.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I'm not talking to Bob unless I know you guys are ready to pull the trigger. I'm not gonna go there. So a couple weeks later, we're like,
you got yourself a great house.
We got an amazing house. We bought the house. It's an amazing house. We paid the price that I thought it would sell for.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It looks totally different.
It looks different than every other house, and we love it.
You got to get Paul back there.
I keep telling him. I was just with him this week, and he said he wants to come by.
Yeah.
He will flip out.
Interesting tale for sure.
So funny, very funny story. Tell me a little bit about your passion for sports. You played track? Was that what?
Yeah, I mean, I played everything growing up.
But then college, you were competitive.
Yeah, I was a catcher in high school in baseball, and
back catcher.
Kind of knees were banged up a little bit, and I just was a little bit burnt out. I literally caught since I was like 5 years old.
Yeah,
and if you've ever done that, you know what it does to your body, and so I was thinking about bailing on baseball, and the soccer coach who I had played for was the track coach in high school.
Got it.
And he convinced me to run track. He knew I was fast. He knew I could jump.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what you're going to do, but just try.
Just go out there. You're athletic.
Yeah. I ended up running the 100. I ran the 4x100.
So
I high jumped. I long jumped. Yeah, I mean, I think I was 6th in the state in the 100.
Wow.
I won the state.
Did you play
in the
football
high jump.
in high school?
I did not. No.
I'm surprised they didn't make you a wide receiver.
Yeah, well, they tried. My parents were not into football. Sadly, my mother had a boyfriend in high school that broke his neck playing football.
Well, that can change your
Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
views.
Yeah, it
You're
probably
better off not. Imagine what your back would be like if you played.
Probably, yeah. I broke it anyway. So, ironically, so I track got me to UMass. I ran track at UMass.
Got it.
I ran the 100 there. Like I said, I had the high jump record for up until only like 5 years ago. I didn't even know. I mean, honestly, I had no idea.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew you were an athlete. I didn't know how deep. That's pretty impressive.
It's pretty intense.
And then growing up in Boston, I mean, Celtics, Red Sox, Patriots. It wasn't
Huge
always, what it is today. Where now it's the best.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. I mean, candidly, when I was deep in the finance business, I opened an office back in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And did it so I could go back and visit family and see my teams. And I was back 5, 6, 7, 8 times a year before I had kids. I would just go back for
Is it
playoffs.
just a given that you're just a diehard when you grow up in Boston? It's just sports, part of the culture there.
100%.
It just seems like everyone I know from Boston.
If you're a sports fan, you're a diehard. Even guys out here say, God, you've been here more than half your life now, which is true. It's crazy.
But but you're a Boston guy, no matter what. Blood. You're not rooting for the Dodgers when they play.
And when they sucked, you love them, and when they're great, you still love them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always as good as it is.
It wasn't always as good. What do you mean? You had the curse. You had the curse for 100 years.
I know, but even all the teams. I mean, growing up, Patriots. I mean,
they were awful.
Yeah,
Grogan
we had a
was
lot
the
of
quarterback.
bad teams.
Think of the Bledsoe episode.
So anyway, I mean, listen, I was in 1986.
Ryan Leaf.
I remember sitting in my dorm lounge with all my buddies watching that Red Sox game.
Bill Buckner,
sophomore year of college, and thinking, we got this, we got this. And then holy shit, they're putting Buckner in the game or keeping him in the game. And boom.
Did you have a story you mentioned about Dwight Evans? Or
Well, so a friend had
not to be named
had some access to things. And we used to go out on Newbury Street in Boston and drink a little too much. And
surprising.
When the bars got shut down.
Nobody likes to drink in Boston.
No, especially not this coming Sunday.
Yeah.
But this guy would let us in Fenway Park, and we would go in there at 3 a.m, and they would put the lights on, and we would hit balls, and we would go in Dwight Evans' family suite and drink. And
you get on the field taking BP in Fenway?
On the field. I mean, throwing the ball to yourself and hitting it, see how
trying to launch one over
the wall. And believe me, you played baseball. If that wall was shorter, you could hit it over that wall.
Oh yeah,
I mean, all day long.
People don't realize how high and hard you have to hit.
I mean, imagine you're a kid growing up a Red Sox fan, and now you're, I looking back, I wish I was sober in those moments because obviously I've been in the stadium 100 times.
Yeah, it's an incredible place to watch a game. I was there, as I mentioned to you, with Kevin Millar, my close buddy growing up, for those games at 0304. And going to games, the Yankee Red Sox games, it was like a different sport. It was not like growing up going to the Dodger games that I knew my whole life. It was a different sport. People are so passionate.
And it's so intimate,
into it.
Right?
It's so intimate. Yeah. You're in this old original stadium. It's so close.
Yeah.
And everyone in the stadium is engaged in like a super fan. Women, men, kids, old, young, all generations. And I was like,
it's intense.
Holy crap, this is incredible.
It's like soccer fans in Europe. I mean, you're there, you're in your seat.
Look,
you're
I
really
fell in love with the Red
seat.
Sox Nation those couple of years. Millar was there with the whole cowboy up and 4 days in October.
I actually was there in 04 when we won as well.
Yeah, I was at every game. Thank God that he was involved with that. But I became a huge Red Sox fan, and in 2 years appreciated the history, the passion, and the love that people had for the Red Sox. And I thought, man, this is 2 years. What if I had grown up like this?
It's intense.
I'd be nuts like you. I'd be completely nuts.
Yeah, I'm not that nuts, but close.
On the border, right on the edge. Right on the edge. So anyway, that's always something that I think about with you Boston guys. They're always, it's Patriots with Brady, the Red Sox are winning. Everyone's winning. Celtics are winning.
They're not fair weather fans, that's for sure.
No. And if you guys are stinking, you're still there loving the team and just getting crushed and still It's not like here where the Dodgers stink, the Lakers stink.
Right.
We just write them off and wait for them to rebuild.
I was at the final game against the Dodgers, and I'll bet you there were more Red Sox fans at that game than Dodger fans this past year.
I was at the historic game against the Red Sox and Dodger at Dodger Stadium, the World Series game. I was at the 18.
You were at the late game.
I was at the 18-inning game.
Yeah, crazy.
That was brutal. Watch two games once, and now Dodgers signed Kelly. I hope he can. Hope that wasn't his best 9 innings that he ever pitched in those.
We'll see.
We'll see. They paid him some money to try to stop the Red Sox this year. Time will tell. So tell me what's next for you in terms of your development company, B Homes, and what you'd like to do. I mean, it sounds like you want to expand and get into bigger price points.
Ultimately, it's all about finding product right now. I mean, as you know, it's
not easy,
impossible to find. There's no deals. Number one,
right?
You're paying full market. You're competing with everybody.
Yeah.
Sadly, everyone. I mean, listen. I'm in the wrong town to have grown up in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. The people out here with money are buying everything they can. They're paying stupid prices.
Right.
And they're building crappy product, and it's unfortunate. But I think part of this, whatever we're going through right now, in terms of a slowdown or a cool down or whatever you want to call it.
I don't know what it is.
Hopefully, it's not a big adjustment, but hopefully, some of these builders and developers are going to get filtered out, and things will get back to a little bit more reality.
It happens in every cycle. I mean, with 50% of the brokers got washed out of the business in the last adjustment. It's just like the builders are saturated, the brokers are too. It's the same thing. Hopefully you filter out the amateurs and get to the professionals.
Real estate, it's funny. Having never had any interest in it and not really knowing much about it. I didn't grow up around people. My relatives weren't in real estate. I didn't know much about other than you buy a house and you live in it for 30, 40 years. But that's where the money is. I mean, ultimately, because of Stuart and kind of his mentorship over the years ago, when my company was growing, I bought a little 2-story building in Culver City for my company. I figured if I'm paying rent, I might as well own something. Office. And the goal was, I just had kids. I said, all right, in 17, 18 years, this thing will be worth hopefully enough where I can sell it and pay for my kids' college. I mean, that was my goal, obviously, at the time. And about a year and a half later, my broker, Luke Palma, who worked for one of the big, Westside brokerage firms, called me and said, dude, I got a buyer. Somebody wants to buy your building, and you can make X. And that X in a year and a half was what I thought I would try to make in 17, 18 years.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and so we sold it.
Took the money.
And went back to leasing space.
Yeah.
Took that money and bought this apartment building in Santa Monica on 20th, which my parents now live in half the year. Yeah. So I don't own it anymore. I sold it, but kind of a crazy circle.
Yeah. And you also are investing in other real estate that you're not developing.
Correct.
I mean, you've got
a lot of land deals.
You have the ranch deal in Santa Clarita.
56 acres in Santa Clarita. We've got the last 800 acres in Indio.
Right. And
that
Indio's
we own.
hot.
Crazy hot. And they just approved growing for cannabis, which is going to probably be a big deal out there.
So for you, that is just investment. You're not hands-on developing.
I'm an investor. We buy distressed land from banks at crazy prices, or we try to.
Got it. So that's a pure investment value play. It's not about you designing and developing.
And we're growing, and I'm actively getting back involved with Taycor, not on a day-to-day basis, but we're really,
ramping up that
we're very
business.
similar to what you guys are doing at Compass right now. We're the hot guy on the street. We have the technology. I mean, it's the same story. Yeah. We just don't have the mega money behind it.
You don't have the $1 billion. But
we're hiring people every week, and we're growing, and we're like I said, we're the flavor of the month.
What is the bread and butter of the equipment that you would be financing? What if I'm someone that's come to Taycor to get financing? What type of equipment am I looking
anything.
at?
So let's say you own this real estate firm.
Yeah.
And when you're starting the office, you need to buy $500,000 in furniture and Macs and phones and servers.
Everything for the office.
Everything you need. And you decide, no different than leasing a car. I don't want to own it.
Got it.
I want to lease it. I want to have it for 5 years, and I want to be able to buy it cheap or turn it back in.
Got it.
So that's what we do. Construction equipment, medical equipment, office equipment. I used to do a ton in the media business, all the film equipment that the studios were using. Yep. And now the big business is working capital. A lot of these businesses across the country, thousands and thousands. I mean, you hear the ads on the news all the time with, got some of these companies, Quicken Loans, that has their own version of these things. And so companies that need $30,000 for 2 months, it's almost like it's not a payday loan, but if they don't have access to a bank line, and let's say they can go buy inventory for $30,000, they'll borrow the money from us. We lend it to them at, decent rates for us, and we have a good return. And that's a big, big part of our business right now.
Got it. Do you know Shervin Roshdi in your business? Or Mike Green? I have two close friends that are...
I think I know Mike Green.
Dakota. Mike Green's Dakota.
Of course. Yeah, I know Mike Green.
Mike and I played baseball
I used
together.
to see him in the gym at Sports Club LA.
Mike's ripped.
Yeah.
he's jacked.
It's funny.
He's a great
I do know Mike
baseball
Green.
player. Mike and I played high school together. And,
wow.
and then
Mike
played
knows
on
me.
teams in college together.
So very similar. And so, we're taking advantage. We're taking advantage of all these other big companies that are changing comp plans very candidly. And all these people want to come work for us.
That's fantastic.
So it's great.
Well, good luck with building that.
Yeah.
You're also investing in some other interesting things, right? You're passionate and an investor in horse racing.
Yeah, sad topic right now, but reality. California has been. They needed to do something. I'm sure everybody knows about
all the issues. The horses.
There's been a lot of horses that have been fatally injured in the last few months.
Sad.
It's horrible.
Has it only been the last few months, or has it always been this way?
No, the rain destroyed the track.
That's what I heard. So
Here's
the weather
problem.
really whacked
If you went out and went on a hike in the rain and you slipped in the mud, you're probably going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And so trainers that are not super smart or that are being very aggressive trying to earn money for an aggressive owner are taking these horses out maybe when they shouldn't be taking them out.
Horses are...
And the track had been allowing it. So just yesterday, they came up with several new rules, which are great. It's going to be good for the sport.
I've been reading about
Hopefully the other states adopt the same rules.
So right now it's only California?
It's only Southern California.
Southern California, wow.
Yeah, it's not even, the sport didn't mandate it. The track basically said we're going to do this.
As they should. Yeah, was it only happening there? For concentrated issues?
Very severe
which makes sense. We've had the horrible weather
there, and it's not okay. And believe me, they treat these horses better than most human beings.
I know.
They're bathed twice a day. They get acupuncture. They get massage.
They're treated like thoroughbred professional athletes,
and they're loved. It's sad. It's very, very sad what's happened. I got into this by accident. I was in Vegas playing craps. And
that's how you got into this?
And the guys that I'm involved with.
The Red Feather.
Little Red Feather.
Little Red Feather guys. Great
Gary
guys.
Fenton and Billy Koch from Beverly Hills.
I grew up with those guys.
Billy's dad was grandfather was a legend.
Big producer Airplane.
His grandfather was partners with Telly Savalas. Kojak. On horses.
Classic.
And Billy fell in love with it at a young age.
His grandfather was passionate about the horses, and he saw it growing up.
So I was in Vegas.
That's great.
And a friend of mine picks up I pick up my phone. It's a friend of my ex-wife, and she says, "You've always been interested in racehorses, right?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, you ought to come back when you come back from Vegas. I want you to go." Jim Rome, who's a sportscaster, Jim Rome and this gal's wife were very good friends.
Got it.
She goes, "Jimmy's going to buy a horse." And I think Tom Brady's involved. I may be wrong.
Brady's involved. You're in.
It was. There's this group of guys, and Jim's going to buy it, and the horses from Chile. His name was Hard Bill.
Yeah, Hard Bill from Chile,
and he was a winner.
Brady's in on the deal, so forget it.
And Lord only knows what was true and what was not. But I did know that Rome was going to go meet the trainer and the horse. I met them at the track. I met Gary and Billy. I met Jim. The trainer was awesome.
Was this early? Was this early on for that group for Billy and?
It wasn't.
Or were they
it wasn't
already,
at the beginning.
It wasn't at the beginning, but
they had a Breeders' Cup win that was a big deal, and a horse called Singletary, which was named after Mike Singletary.
God, they've done this a long time.
Yeah, it was kind of a cheap horse that won and was amazing. So I got involved in that, and I'm super passionate about that.
And were you always passionate about the horse track?
Always loved horses.
Yeah.
Grew up riding horses. Grew up going to the crappiest races in Scarborough, Maine.
Got it.
The harness racing.
Go bet to Exacta for $5. I grew up. My grandfather loved the horses. He was always at Hollywood Park, Santa Anita. He's from New York, but moved to LA. In the 40s, and growing up, I always hear, "Oh, I had $20 on the exact
Saratoga,
300 to
yeah.
1, and I just missed. And one time he hit, and he comes in with the brand new Cadillac Seville.
Yeah.
This is in the 70s.
Hey,
or
I have an uncle
like
that won a crazy bet like that and bought 2 cottages in Maine for cash.
Like, come on. But most of the time, 99% of the time was, I almost hit the exact. They came in fourth.
I mean, here's the thing: they're horses. They can't tell you they don't feel well. They wake up, they're tired. They're going to do it. They're athletes.
No,
they have a good day or they don't have a good day.
Yeah, if you're an expert and you study the numbers, it's like analytics.
Right.
You help your odds, but you can't call it. I mean, it's just. So that's something you're passionate about.
For sure.
How often are you out there? Are you?
Not as much as I'd like. We got involved in pin hooking, which is where you buy yearlings and you sell them at 2 years old. It's just a different part of the business.
So you're selling horses that will become
so we have a partnership,
horses?
And you buy, let's say, 21-year-olds at an
babies.
auction.
You're buying babies.
You're buying a pedigree.
Yeah.
You know, what's the horse look like and what's the breeding line, right? And then you train them for a year. You train them to be a racehorse. And at 2 years old, which is right now, we just had the first sale of the year was last week.
At 2 years old, are they? I don't know horses that well. Are they full grown or what?
No, they're not full grown, but you can race a horse at 2 years.
They can start racing.
Keep in mind, the Derby is only 3-year-olds.
Wow.
Kentucky Derby. It's only 3-year-olds.
So in theory, 3 you're peaking.
So at 2, you sell them now. We just had a sale in back east, and there's going to be another one in Miami in a month, and then there's others in Kentucky and so forth. And you hope that if you bought a horse and trained it well, that they make a profit. It's business. I mean, we had one last year or the year before that sold for $1 million.
Selling a horse
as a 2-year-old that's never raced, that runs, a 1/16 of a mile under a gun, timing it and breeding.
Yeah, but if that becomes a champion racer,
most of these horses that we're buying are direct lineage of
other champions.
The guys who just won the Derby and the Breeders' Cups and all the big races. So
it's amazing. So what a horse like that, if it goes on to do what you expect, someone buys that horse, what kind of winnings could it have? And isn't the career pretty short?
Most horses don't make a lot of money. They don't make any money. I mean, quite frankly, you got to, vet bills are high. It's a very expensive sport. So it's mainly losers. It's throwing a dart at a dartboard trying to pick a stock.
But then when you get one that does hit and they become that horse, the 1 in 100 or whatever it is, what kind of money are they making from these races?
Depends. I mean, there was a Japanese guy just bought a horse at that sale this week for $2 million.
He bought the horse for $2 million.
A 2-year-old horse that's never raced, that's never ran around the track, probably full speed with a jockey on it, and breeding. And if that, God forbid, that horse twists an ankle tomorrow, it's all over. I mean, the horse will live and it'll survive and be a trail horse or a jumper or something else. But I mean, it's tough game.
Yeah, high risk.
Tough
so
game.
What is the purse for a Kentucky Derby type of race? I mean, whoever wins that.
Millions.
It is millions. Yeah. So it's like that, but that is the one.
But that's winning the World Series.
Yes, it's the 1 in a million.
Yeah. Or the Super Bowl is more like it because it's a one-time shot, right?
So not happening. You do your best. No. You do your best and you lose a lot.
Yeah, no, very good chance you're buying a shitty stock.
Yeah, hey, look, it's like the record business. You sign 20 bands and maybe one of them hits and 2 or 3 break even and the rest don't.
For sure.
The rest lose money. Yeah, it's long shot odds. Well, that's really interesting.
Better odds in real estate, for sure.
Better odds in real estate, for sure. No doubt about it. If you're doing it right, you should win most of the time. Hit singles, doubles, triples, home runs. So tell me about, do you have any morning routines? I know you work out a lot. Give me your sort of on a personal, side. Are you like a meditator at all? Do you do any mindfulness? Anything?
No meditation. I probably should. I'm actually considering it
really
for
need
sleep. But I get up early. I'm not one of these guys that sets an alarm and snoozes 5 times. I get up.
Well, what's your getting up early? How early?
6.
You're up early.
Generally. I'm up at 6. I get right up. I get right in the shower. I watch the news kind of when I'm in the shower or kind of hear it and watch it in the background. And now I used to be in the office early, but now my routine is I go out and go to my job sites early, meet with the guys running the jobs.
Lonnie and my crew and see who needs
Shout
what. Shout out to Lonnie, my main man.
Pacius, yeah.
My kids love him.
One of the best
a real pro
metal rock drummers in the world. That's no bullshit.
I know.
Like the real deal.
Yeah, Lonnie
plays
can play.
At the Roxy and
now this is
the
like
big guys when they need a good drummer for those like Legends nights, he's the drummer.
Yeah, he's
it's
like,
insane.
he's right.
And I play drums. I mean, I grew up playing drums since I'm 5.
Yeah.
And so I have drums in my garage, which I need to start playing, electronic drums.
No, but he's the real deal.
He's
he was
the
a real
deal.
musician.
Yeah, I'm
and
embarrassed to play in front of him.
He's also a fantastic contractor.
He is.
So instead of going on tour with Metallica, he's building houses
Pretty much
on the west side.
Yeah. And I think he's happy. It's a little more stable.
It's a little more stable.
So I'm out there with those guys for whatever time I need to be.
Depending on what's going on.
And then luckily I've gotten to a stage in my career and in my life where I then usually go back to the office and do a little bit of work. And I'm flexible. I mean, listen, I haven't missed anything from my kids are going to be 17 and 15. I've never missed a school event. I never missed a play when you're 4 years old. I've never missed
you're very involved.
I've never missed anything.
No matter what's going on.
Doesn't matter. I've always had the ability to get the hell out and just go and do it, which is great. I'm lucky. I mean, knock on wood.
Very lucky. You're very lucky.
So, it's a blessing and it's a curse because God forbid you have to miss something, which I haven't, but I'm sure I will at some point. It's, you
That's
break
great
the record.
for them. It's great that you're there and at all the events.
So once I kind of get through my morning, then I go to the gym. I don't have a set time.
I've never talked to someone more who's on a treadmill than you.
But it's only random because I'm not in there all the time, and I'm not in there.
It seems like you're in there all the time. Like, this guy's going to go get a six-pack or something. When he trained for a marathon. I feel like every day I talk to you, you're like on the treadmill.
When I can answer you is usually when I'm not busy, and that means I'm on the treadmill or I'm in the gym.
I feel like that's every time I catch you.
Now,
I'm like, this guy's working like
I'm
2
in the
days,
gym
3
for
days.
90 minutes, probably 5 or 6 days a week.
Okay.
That's it.
So,
I go in, I'm not a gym rat. I hate it. I can't stand it. I do it so I can eat pizza and drink wine.
But to do it,
I don't like it, but I get in and I don't talk to people. I get through my stuff and I get out.
Yeah.
And then the rest of my day is, back to the job sites
Putting
and figuring out what's going on.
We're looking at deals.
Trying to help stuff with the finance company that they may need help on. Like we're trying to raise money now. So there's a project there that I'm kind of taking on.
Yeah.
And I'm actually getting my real estate license, believe it or not.
Oh, great.
No, not to be a competitor.
I'm getting my contractor's license.
You should. Don't be threatened. I'm
so threatened.
I won't take the corner office down there yet. No, here's the thing. I meant to do it years ago because I'm in the business and I ought to have it.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm doing it, but I'm just doing it because I have the time to do it right now.
Yeah, because you want to tell me, Danny, I have a license, so how much should we split this deal?
I may be looking for a job in a couple of years. You never know.
Yes. At that time.
Don't be scared.
By that time, I hope I'm building houses. How many hours do I need to become a contractor? I go work for Lonnie?
Yeah, you should probably go work for Lonnie. It's going to be a hell of a lot longer than it's going to take me to get a job down the hall right here.
I play guitar. I can jam with him, and Hugo and all those guys.
Yeah, good luck.
So tell me, do you have, obviously you have daughters.
Your loafers will never make it through the dirt approaching the lot.
Well, I could throw on the Adidas shell toes. Don't worry. I don't always go loafers. That's just sometimes. So tell me, you have daughters, teenage daughters. Mm-hmm. So now you're balancing being dad and the businesses. How, it seems like you've done a good job of that because you're finding time to always be there.
Well, listen,
how have you done that?
They have a great mom and they have a great dad, and we live close to each other. I see them all the time. We're a mile away, which is great. It's, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, again, thankfully, I'm at a point in my career, and I have been for a long time. I mean, I've owned my own business since I've had kids. So thankfully, it's always been easy, even if I had something going on, to not have to be there.
Yeah.
And that's a choice you make. Believe me, I know guys that didn't do that probably are more successful in some regards in terms of business, but I'd rather not do that.
Well, how do you define success? Success isn't money. There's plenty of we know billionaires that are miserable.
Good
so
point.
It's not about that.
And listen, the kids are grounded. They're super smart. They're beautiful. They're great people. You need to hire my daughter to babysit.
I do need a babysitter.
She's the person in the neighborhood now.
I'm thrilled. Done.
The rate's super
Jessica,
high.
We'll call her and we'll hook that up.
Yeah.
So what's the next family trip for you guys? You do a lot of Cabo trips, I see.
I go to Cabo a lot because it's close. It's easy. Last trip I did with the kids was Cabo. I'll probably go back to Cabo before I go anywhere else just because it's easy. But my next real trip's going to be probably to Australia.
Ooh, a big trip.
Best friend I grew up with, literally grew up behind me in the neighborhood, has been in Sydney for years.
Oh, wow.
And I've never been. So I want to go to Sydney. I want to go to Asia. I got to take the time to be able to do it.
That's a real trip. Yeah,
exactly.
you got to carve time out. You're doing that this year, you're saying, or sometime soon?
Candidly, I was thinking about doing it in the last few months, that was the plan, but I didn't want to do it before the project got sold. As you know, we kind of finished that before Thanksgiving. The holidays killed us.
Timing, but
we lost 3 or 4 months just sitting, unfortunately, and I didn't feel it was appropriate to get the hell out of town in the middle of that.
Well, that would be an amazing trip. So tell me, what year is Tom Brady going to retire?
Oh, man. You know, it's funny. A couple years ago when they got beat, I forget who they played in the playoffs, and they were out, and they didn't make it to the next. The next game was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm not a big churchgoer, but we're Catholic, and I think it must have been a holiday or something, and my parents happened to be in town. But I met Tom at church, coming out of church. It was the day of. It was either the Super Bowl day, or maybe it was the round right before
surreal.
that. And we're walking out of mass, and I see him, and I went up and I shook his hand and I said, "Hey, I'm a big fan, and grew up back there, and love what you do and everything about you." And I said, "How bad is it being in church right now when you should be playing?" He's like, and he was. I'm not going to tell you what he said on the Church of the Steps, but it resembled something like, "I can't fucking believe this."
Yeah. Well, that's why he is who he is. It's fascinating to play at that elite level and for this many years, and the amount
I know
of time
people that know him.
He puts in so much time.
The nicest guy you'll ever meet. Treats everyone the same. He's doing every drill. He's not sitting on the sidelines like a prima donna watching everybody do the drills.
He had a big ass house here in Brentwood that he sold to Dr. Dre. They never moved into it.
Crazy.
Unbelievable house. So he spent some time in LA. But I hear he's a great guy.
So the answer to your question
the answer to the question is he 40 this year?
I think he's 42, isn't he?
42?
Tom's 42? Not 40. I think Tom's older than 40.
This guy.
Hopefully he'll look it up right here.
Yeah.
So he's 41.
So this season
he's going to be 42 when he plays. He'll play till 45. I mean, listen, the guy is
3 seasons.
He doesn't drink alcohol. He eats perfect meals. He's got someone taking care of him. He's in insane shape. He's back when you played baseball, we all did the pliability drills and all the stuff that you never took seriously.
But they do. He does.
But that's the kind of stuff that works. That he's proven in the last. He has his own company now, TB12, and it's nutrition and all that stuff. And I've seen and it works. I mean, look at the guy. The guy looks younger than he did 10 years ago. He's in better shape.
Benjamin Button, he's getting younger and younger. And the amount of time and studying they do, watching film, watching tendencies, all those things eliminate the odds of putting yourself in a bad situation as a quarterback. He seems to know when to step up, when to step back, where the pressure's coming from, that's what's
what's interesting.
A lot of that's the studying. It's not just that
I'm like a once a year, twice a year book reader. I'm not a huge book reader, but when I go on vacation, I'll read a book. And
I'm glad you can read, Bob.
I can read, believe it or not. And the best book I've ever read is
from
called
Southie. I didn't know. Maybe you can't read.
Good to Great. I don't know if you've read
that's
it.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I mean but that's the difference between the Patriots and everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's a difference in business. It's really easy to get good. It's impossible, very impossible, or nearly impossible to get great. And so that's them.
That's the fine line that we're all shooting for.
Yeah.
I need you to be the Tom Brady of development.
I'm trying.
Bob, awesome. I'm glad you joined us today. Good to see you.
I got to give a shout out to this guy over here because Run DMC is my favorite group of all time.
DMC.
Awesome shirt.
One of my favorite groups of all time.
Yes, I mean, you're young. I don't know how you're such a big fan of them, but they are phenomenal.
Oh, God, one of the best all time.
For sure, right?
And Def Jam and all that stuff. Russell, they started hip hop into blowing up into a mainstream genre. I used to have the most obnoxious
Adidas sweatshirt in college.
Did you have the gold chains?
No, but they wore it, and somehow I found it in New York City. I'm sure I look like a complete idiot.
So that's why you still rock the Adidas.
Well, I used to DJ too, so I mean that's
what?
Oh my God. Yeah.
What? Back in Boston?
I have my DJ equipment in my room at my house currently.
Oh my God!
It's like my piece. So you meditate, right?
Yeah.
I don't meditate.
Yeah.
When I want to get away, I throw my headphones on and do that.
I was a DJ too, middle school, high school, college, and then I gave it up.
Well, you were probably the bar mitzvah king.
Bar mitzvah king, yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
Different music.
A little different.
I'm sure it was a little different.
I don't think it was so different. I think
That's funny.
I was battling the brothers.
That was us
ones
too.
And twos.
Believe me. Trust me. I was
time.
like the white guy at the Malcolm X Center.
I was at the parties DJing those parties at the Malcolm X Center.
That's great.
With my brothers. Yeah, that was awesome. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you feel like we haven't touched on?
I don't know. What haven't you touched on?
We'll call it a day then.
Okay.
Dude, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we finally got in here.
For sure.
Let's get a deal done soon.
For sure. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Hey, I just want to thank Bob Skibinski for coming in. I always have a great time hanging with Bob, whether we're talking deals or whether we're just watching sports or talking shit. He's always a good guy to hang with. So I appreciate it. You can always find Bob. He's Bob at Bookie Homes, but you can find him on Instagram at Bob Skibinski. You can also find me on Instagram at Danny Brown LA. And I really appreciate you subscribing and tuning in. And more guests are coming up soon. Jay Lux, James Ferrier, Joey Millar, Josh LaBelle, and more coming to you soon. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you hanging with us. Take care.